Hey, my name's Leon, and today I'm interviewing Maria from Hess Street Foods.
Hey, how are you, Leon? I'm so excited to be here today. It's an honor. We've already talked about so many things. You're my mentor at Geekdom, and I can wait to do this.
Oh, I'm
my
really
story.
excited. And I think you've got a really unique story, and also it's a little different from the normal SaaS that, we're talking to, or even like a brick and mortar. You are
Right.
kind of direct to consumer. You've got a little bit retail operation, but I want to spoil all of it for everybody. I want you to kind of start from the beginning. Is how did you develop a product? And the context to that is you have, and we've got some of it right here,
Yes.
it is chorizo paste.
Correct. It's a chorizo paste. So it's the natural flavor of chorizo, and that's our iconic signature product, Abuela's Original.
Yes, and then we've got a verde.
A verde paste. That's a recipe from the Central Valley of Mexico.
Okay.
And again, it's used to make chorizo.
Okay, and then the last one is a Spanish chorizo paste.
Right. So that's the origin of it all, where we got the chorizo flavors originally from the Spanish that came to Mexico, and we have a lot of influence from them.
Okay, and then you've got, and this one I have not seen before, but it's a chorizo seasoning.
Correct. And that's our dry blend. So that's a product that people can get online or at Pullman Market. And that's the same recipe as Abuela's Original, but everything's in a powdered form.
Oh, I like that.
That's a fun one.
No, I like that. So the little bit of context, I want to know, and I've got a little bit of context, but I want to hear it in full breath of what is the story that got you started on Hess Street Foods?
Oh, wow. So I'm going to start by telling everybody that the women in my family, for generations, they've been chorizo artisans, so chorizo makers. Okay. My grandmother was a chorizo artisan. Her mother was a chorizo artisan. My great-great-grandmother was a chorizo artisan. So I grew up watching my grandmother making chorizo. And by that, I mean cleaning peppers, peeling garlic, mixing all the spices, stuffing the chorizo casing, hanging it. So it was very magical, Leon. It was like being in her kitchen. I not only have a memory of all the, her working on the table, but also the smell of her kitchen. It was very unique. And to me, watching her doing this, it was like watching a superwoman working at work, It looked impossible to do what she used to do. And she so her recipe, she passed me down her recipe, and I started playing with that recipe. So going back to why I started this, making chorizo was something magical for me, kind of impossible as a little girl, but also it was just a dream for me to imagine myself doing the same thing. And so I started to play with her recipe as a mom, because I wanted to give my kids good chorizo, and I wanted them to try the real, true flavors of chorizo. Yeah. So I started doing that, and it took me a while to get the exact same flavor. Abuelitas are they're like magical beings. And I realized how difficult it was to accomplish the big flavor that I was used to. But when I did it, it felt like a big party. It felt like a victory for me. So once I had that, I started making chorizo, selling it to my neighbors, to my friends, and they would all come back to me and say, Maria, you need to sell this. You need to start a business doing this. When we moved to Texas, I was determined to do something serious about it. And I looked online and I found Launch SA,
And that's right down the street. It's a San Antonio run, or it's a Geekdom run program that's supported by the San Antonio government, I believe. And they offer small businesses help on launching their businesses. A lot of folks are restaurants. A lot of folks are brick and mortar. So that's really cool that was the first part into all of this.
I was very lucky to find this program that's specifically or especially focused on culinary businesses. So I was there with a bunch of other great businesses that wanted to learn more and just have some insights into how to become successful in the food industry, which is not very easy. And to my surprise, I was probably the only one with no DBA, no LLC. I was just there like, hey, hi. Yeah. I'm Maria, and I have this great chorizo recipe. So it felt scary because there were a lot of terms that I didn't understand. But I tried to remind myself, I'm here to learn. I'm here to make this happen. And just take a deep breath, and everything will be fine. So my idea was to build a chorizo business. And chorizo, I was thinking the entire link. Okay. So the chorizo sausage. But because of all the things that I was learning, I realized it was going to be very difficult to be, how can I say it, treating pork, raw pork, it was very tricky. So when you are working with raw pork, there's a lot of components you need to be aware of.
And it's sanitary is my assumption, is making sure there's not pests or salmonella or whatever is there.
Yes, just to keep the sausage in 100% like good quality. You need to have a lot of controls and supervision and special dry chambers. And I didn't have the capital to do that, to make that happen. So I thought, what should I do? I was about to give up. Thought this is not easy for me. I don't have the resources. But then just suddenly I came with the idea of only making the flavor and putting it in a jar. So all the natural flavors that make a person go, oh, this tastes like chorizo. All those flavors, natural, without preservatives, in a jar. I share my idea with my colleagues from Launch SA, the director of the program at that time, Ryan Saltz, and they all loved the idea. So I started working on creating a paste that would allow people to make their own chorizo at home, so they would control the quality of their meat, their protein, and also it would fix a lot of problems for people like vegan, the vegan community that has a hard time finding delicious Mexican food that they can enjoy without any chemicals and colors and stuff like that.
That's a really interesting pivot too, because you've got no business background. I think that's a benefit. I think a lot of times folks come in and they're too focused on all the other components. I need an LLC. I need marketing. I need a website. I need all of that.
Yeah.
I think you went the right way. You validated. You hit the roadblock versus the normal thing. And what I always hear around geekdom and what I always tell people is everything's solvable in some capacity.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really took that to heart, and the vegan part and like we used it. We didn't use it with pork. We used it with something else. I forget what it was.
Yes.
But we even used it with chicken. There's so many components to that. And honestly, I've eaten so much chorizo in my life, I didn't realize it was like made that way. I thought it was just kind of like a specific type of pork or something, and you get the grease in it, and it's not the healthiest thing in the world to eat. This kind of changes it for you.
It now is, yeah.
The part that I want to ask about is, and we've been talking about this, is that persona of the person you're going after. I really think it's like a fitness person or somebody that, has some dietary restriction that they're like, oh, I can't eat pork, I can't eat this grease. Like, have you, like, what is that kind of persona that you're pushing towards?
Yes,
for people?
When we're talking with our customers, it's usually the same concern. It's their concern or just being cautious with their health. Mm-hmm. So health oriented. They also tire of all these products, all the fillers, preservatives, chemicals that they read on labels. So they're really looking to buy products that are clean. So foodies, worried about their health, getting into their diet clean stuff, worried about their family's health as well. And they also have little time. So they have busy lives, busy schedules, and they need something fast. Yeah. So this product solves all those problems. You can use it in a very fast way. It brings big flavors, and it has no chemicals, nothing. Everything in there is good. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and especially, you know, like the time that we're filming this is the red dyes, all the artificial dyes are going to be phased out in the United States, I think for a positive. They're talking about artificial sweeteners. I think you're at a prime moment in a marketing perspective to kind of lean in on the whole, the organic, the no artificial coloring, no artificial, you know, like stabilizers. Like, you might have small things here and there that help you do it.
Yes.
But the lack of all of that in there, I think, really benefits you in this health kind of push recently. Like, there is a huge component. And even that recipe, the chorizo, like, there's fun things that kind of lean into the culture. Like, you touched on it, but Are you looking at any of those, like, cultural components to bring it into, like, your brand? Like,
definitely. So, my customers, they all worried about their health. They all want big flavors. They all want true traditional flavors. But they also have this food nostalgia component happening, which means they all want to bring back traditions into their lives.
And I imagine we're in South Texas, it's mostly Hispanic heritage, and everybody remembers. I remember my grandmother has red rice. She would make tamales by hand.
Yes.
Now everything's processed, and we're going to the store and trying to get that or trying to make it home and just not able to do it.
Right.
So I get that food nostalgia a lot. Like,
yes.
I really like that.
Everything made from scratch in the kitchen with the help of your kids, family togetherness, all these elements create a magical world around the kitchen. And so this is the result of using the paste. It's not only that you are getting great flavors, but you're also getting the community component. You can invite your friends, you can have family over, and you're just cooking together and organizing who's going to chop what and who's going to fry the meat. And it can all be a fun event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, I think there's a resurgence, especially kind of this post-COVID time, that everyone's talking about. We don't have third places. We don't have community. We don't talk to neighbors. We don't even engage with our family sometimes. And I think a really good way that somebody put it to me recently is, with a child, you only have 18 summers, you know, and as they get older, you've only got 10 summers. You only got so much time with people. And you think about how many holidays you have left with a parent. Like, there's so many things that if you frame it in, like, those kind of thinkings, 15 summers left with a child or 15 holidays with a child that you know they're going to be there, it's a real component to that. And to bring community into it, I think it's the core part, especially with the Hispanic heritage, especially in South Texas, San Antonio specifically, that's huge. You are in HEB.
I am.
Like, that's a huge thing.
144 stores.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
Huge. That's where I went and bought it the first time. I went to, it's in the Cooking Connections.
Yes.
As soon as I picked it up, one of the Cooking Connections persons sold me on it. Like, They knew all the information. It was impressive.
Yes, the chefs are best ambassadors, Leon. They understand the product. They're in love with the product. So I'm very grateful for them.
No, it was impressive that, they told me a little bit about it. They said it was a newer product, and I was like, oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. But how did you get there? Like, I think that's a huge marketing channel for you, and it's also a really big leap from being at Lanche to doing pork to there. Like, what is that kind of timeline to then also what happened to get you there?
Yes, that's a great question. So what I've learned out of this journey has been to adapt, adjust to the situations that life puts in front of you. For example, I thought my chorizo business was not going to work, so I had to pivot. And sometimes it's hard to pivot and to change your plans and the picture that you had at the beginning. It's painful, it's overwhelming, but at the end of the day, this block is going to lead you to probably a bigger picture. And that's what happened to me with Hess Street Foods. I never thought people would be so excited about a product like this one. And then the more I was listening to our customers' reviews and their excitement, and our sales were growing at the farmers market, I thought maybe I should give it a shot and apply to HEB's Quest for Texas Best.
Okay. And that program, and just the context on it and the details, is it's HEB's way to get new products into the store. They look for folks just like you that have a product, they've got some traction, and then you go do a competition, whatever tastes the best, whatever kind of has the ability to scale, they'll put it in their stores.
Correct.
And they'll give them kind of spots, and they'll say it's Texas made, Texas sourced, all of that.
Yeah.
And then if you can kind of prove out the sales and you show traction in their stores, they can give you permanent shelf space, which
yes,
for any grocery store is huge. Like, HEB doesn't do it, but Walmart's and Kroger's and Albertsons all have slotting fees. They all cost something to get in the stores, and you getting in there, I think
it's a great opportunity. It is a great opportunity. We're very happy with our partnership with HEB. They've been great. We've learned a lot. We've grown with them. They have a great program for new suppliers. So they take you, they hold your hand the entire process, and I created connections with them that I'm sure they're gonna last a lifetime. So it's been great working with them.
That's amazing. And I think the part now, though, is you've got two channels. You've got a retail channel and you've got a direct-to-consumer online channel. Like, we've talked about this. How are you handling that marketing? Like, a lot of times companies that get into retail they're much further along. They've took on a ton of capital. They scaled their direct consumer part, and then they go into a Target or they go into Walmart, and it's like, oh wow, like in some ways they made it. But you've got a homegrown direct consumer, farmers markets there to HEB. How are you handling all that marketing? Like, this is what we're talking about a lot right now.
Yes. So a lot of small business owners are going to feel very, they're going to just understand my feeling of not having at the beginning enough resources to put into marketing. Mm-hmm. So at the beginning stages of a business, you need to be really smart on how you spend every penny. So I remember we were talking about dressing up your products or your business the same way you would dress up in the morning. Yeah. And I love that metaphor. So it was pretty much the same way. I looked at my product as if it was my child, my baby, and I wanted it to look great, pristine, the best color combinations, clean, beautiful. I wanted my logo to bring all the messages that we wanted to bring out to the market, which were family-oriented, a story that is about resilience and immigrants wanting to do better. So all those Hispanic culture, all those components needed to be represented on our image. And that took time, but when you know where you're going, when you know what your product's about, when you understand very well where the product is heading, and we're talking about our consumer profile, etc., it's easy to answer those questions. So probably we want clear colors because we're talking about a clean product. So we want colorful products out there. We don't want black or gray or so it was when you have your customer or consumer correctly defined, it's easy to answer and to make those decisions. So you do everything yourself. When you're a small business owner, you do a lot of videos and pictures and making color decisions and logo decisions. But I think at the end of the day, it has worked really well for Hess Street Foods. The first label we had is completely different. Completely different.
I would love to see that, just in a progression. Like, that would be a great, like, on your about page from start to finish. Like,
yes, that's a great idea. So, to start with, it was black. And then it didn't make sense.
No, and now I love it. Like,
yeah,
butterfly on it.
Yeah.
There's so many, and I'll put it like, there's so much to it. Like,
yes,
it's a beautiful, like, look, and I do think it conveys a lot of that. Even the green, like, for the label, the verde, like, it matches it almost to a T. The yellows stand out, and you've got a really good design element that runs through it.
Yeah.
And I think the part that you mentioned is really key, is you knew your customer persona and you knew the story you wanted to tell. And a lot of marketing is knowing those two things, finding where the watering hole is, and then how do you, like, tie it to that.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't get that. So that's a really good component that
yes.
that you've executed well on.
Thank you. Well, it was in to me, farmers markets was a great space to learn everything I could from my product. And the best way you have, like the best channel to learn from your product is from the people who are using it.
Yes.
And so they will come back to us, which was great. And it would just show us that our product was working. They would come back and tell us, you know, I made this dish with your product. I decided not to make chorizo, but instead I made this other casserole and it was delicious. And I love that I didn't feel, heartburn or I didn't feel heavy after eating it. So all that, and we would ask them, what do you think about the label? I don't know, like you kind of get lost. It's not a representation of what it is. So we would take into consideration all those, all that feedback. And then it's very important to take your customers seriously. What they have to say matters a lot.
No, I love that.
Yes.
The biggest thing in anything in your building a business is let's get customer feedback as quickly as possible and iterate on it. Obviously, filter out the ones that might just be a little too like, oh, I wanted this and it's like not quite. But you iterate on it and you're like, oh yeah, like the not quite is, oh, I really wanted a taste of, the verde. Like I would love that. And then you start iterating, and that's people don't think of it as marketing, but that is part of the marketing of listening to that consumer feedback and almost having like a customer support mindset of like, how do I get them to that? And that early iteration is actually what builds brands and helps them get to the product market fit to where they scale to, $10, $100 million. That's the key part.
Yes.
And most people miss it because they're so fixated on what their vision was.
Right. And I think, Leon, that customers, they perceive when you are interested about them, they perceive it. They're very sensitive nowadays. I feel customers have changed a lot. They know when their feedback is taken into consideration for the future of your business. They feel if they matter or not.
Yeah.
And for us, it's very important for them to feel listened to, that we worry about their health, what they're eating, that we want to bring them the best flavor, but we want to do it with the best ingredients, not just adding chemicals for our flavors to explode. We would never do that. And when consumers feel this love, because it is at the end of the day, is just appreciation and love, they become very loyal to you. And I'm super overwhelmed with all the just the, how can I say it, the positive reviews, the happiness that they show when they buy the product directly from us at the farmers market. And so yeah, it's been a great adventure.
I love it, and I think, you know, the important parts is you're building those brand personas. You know who you're marketing to. You've got an idea of who it is. You've broken it up. Listen to customer feedback. Like,
yeah,
that's how you build it. And then now, I've got a question, and we ask it for everybody: is if somebody was in your shoes today and they were trying to build whatever they're building, kind of in the food space, in the culinary element, whether it's a restaurant or a product that's going to be sold, like, what would you tell them today? Like, what would their journey be along the way?
Yes, to be very patient and to be ready to fail a couple of times. The reason why you're not probably being successful with your product, if you've already made sure it has good quality, it has good taste, because in the food industry, it's all about flavor. Mm-hmm. Like in the real estate industry, it's location, you know, flavor. So you know you have the best flavor. You know you're putting in the best ingredients, so good quality. So why are you not succeeding? And I would say you haven't found the right market. Your booth at the farmer's market or the farmer's market you're at is not the right one. So failure doesn't mean that your product is not going to work. That would be my first advice.
I love that. Pick the right watering hole, whether
Yes.
it's in person or an online channel. If you're on Facebook and selling, or if you're on LinkedIn selling chorizo paste,
chorizo.
it's probably not going to work out. Nobody's going to be interested. But if you're on
Right.
Facebook in the groups with the right people,
Yeah.
it's going to go way better. Same thing. If you're in the right demographic of people there, it's a game changer. Okay.
Yes.
Any other parts to that?
I would say don't compromise when it comes to food. People want a good price, but when you talk to your customer and you tell them, okay, if you want a better price, I'm going to have to compromise quality, they all go, no, don't do that. I would rather know that I'm eating good food, clean food again, and that has a cost. That has a price. For example, I could add water to my products, and that would make them, less costly for me. So at the end of the day, a better price for the customer. Do we want that? Well, we don't want that. We want them to try the best chorizo flavor out there. And the only way to do that is to not add any water. And I have like other examples with other ingredients, but at the end of the day, the message is do not compromise the quality of your ingredients if you're in the food industry. Try different sizes. Try different versions of it, but do not compromise the quality if that's your niche. If your niche is high quality food products,
and
right?
I think right now in the space we are, in the world we are, that food is becoming a very big discussion point in our health of the country, health of every person, and I think especially artificial colors are going away, artificial sweeteners. Like, don't compromise on that because there is a changing wave, and a lot of people are starting to realize, hey, my bread has 20 grams added sugar. I don't need that.
Yes.
It's got food coloring, and it's like, oh man, even ham. Ham isn't inherently pink. It is brown, and people don't realize that. So there's those small parts of education. And I think you're doing that well. Yeah. And those are two really great advice points for people is the failure is expected, learn from it. And then on the part is don't compromise your values and the values that you want to convey to the customer. And that goes across anything. Yeah. Just pick the right marketing watering holes, and don't let whoever's that outside force make changes to your product unless it's part of the mission and the value. Yeah.
Your values and your philosophy and your mission and the heart of your business and your product cannot be touched. That has to rest intact. And if it's because of money, even less. Like you don't want to compromise any of that's sacred, right? Yeah.
And I think the one great example of that in like a marketing world is Costco, $1.50 hot dogs. That is like their anchor. They don't care how much money they lose. Their markup percentages are transparent, and I think consumers really respect that stuff in these days especially. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I think you had some really great advice for people, and I love just your story. And I hope we keep talking and everything. Yeah. And thank you so much for
this went really fast, Leon.
No, it did.
Are we done?
Yeah, more or less. I love this hat. Like, I'm gonna wear this all the time.
Yeah.
This is going to be my
hat.
favorite.
Thank you.
And I love the color.
Right?
It's so nice. And I love
I've
these
seen
styles.
you wearing earthy colors, and I thought this is perfect for you.
No, and it matches. Like, I got this type of shirt. So, again, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
They can find you in HEB's. It's in Cooking Connections 144.
Yes. We're also at Pullman Market.
Okay, Pullman Market, which is in the Pearl, close to downtown San Antonio.
Yes, very nice.
And, of course, on your website. What's that URL?
It's hessstreetfoods.com.
And we'll put that in the show notes.
Perfect.
And there's a ton of recipes online from you. You got to follow the Instagram. I love that. So we'll put everything in the show notes.
Thank you, Leon.
Maria, thank you so much for coming. And this is The Boost. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.